So finally we can start, and welcome everybody everywhere. And we have 4 people here in Randolph, in Amsterdam, in some interesting place. It's a kind of island, yeah, with some farms and animals. And also we are here, also some strange creatures, strange beings who came in this kind of weather to this place. So, and I'm happy to see all of you from all over the world. Yeah, I can see, yeah, from America, from Europe, from Russia, and I guess from Australia also somebody might be here. Okay, so first of all, we sit comfortably. First of all, we sit comfortably and enjoy how we are sitting. Can you hear the rain? Can you? No, no rain. Okay. So we sit comfortably and just relax and enjoy and breathe out. Just leaving everything behind. No agitation. I'm not going to make you enlightened, so relax. Maybe you have some fun, but no enlightenment guaranteed. So there is no reason to worry about that. Because the more we worry about enlightenment, the more difficult, they say that more difficult it is for enlightenment to appear. So we just relax, enjoy our moment, enjoy sitting comfortably, enjoying like having nothing to do, just enjoying whatever is there in our life. Just everything is completed, like we applied yesterday. Everything is completed. Everything is done. So whatever position we have, it's okay. Whatever state of mind we have, it's okay. So like it is said in this famous ancient Tantra, all creating king, it is said that just don't change your body, don't meditate the deity. So we are not applying any special meditation or concentration. We are not applying any special position, but the position should be comfortable. We should be fine with our position. And you know, in Russian language, we have 2 words for feeling comfortable. One is just comfortable, like coming from Latin, and another one is original Russian word. And usually when I'm teaching in Russian language, I'm using the word comfortable. Why? Because if you use this word, which is the same word for comfortable, but just in Russian language, but if you're asking people, are you comfortable in Russian? And they say, yes, I can stand it. Yeah. So if you can stand it, it's already nice. You know, for some people in some countries, it's already nice. But then when I'm using the word like European word, comfortable, then it's different. Then you don't have to stand. It's really nice. Yeah. So and we make ourselves comfortable. Like one time, one of my teachers, Kensei Yeshe, said that the main responsibility of Dzogchen practitioners is to be happy. Yeah. So we do not really always fulfill our duties. But we try our best, just feeling comfortable. Yeah. Feeling happy. Even there is no reason to feel happy, but we can still feel. And we just enjoy our moment. Like everything is completed. We don't need to change anything. We don't need to apply any method. We don't need to wait for anything to happen. Nothing's gonna happen. I'm telling this from the very beginning that nothing special is gonna happen. And if you notice some kind of desire to do something or some kind of expectation, just notice this. It's just some kind of movement in your body, in your breathing, in your mind. Expectation. Where is this expectation? When you have expectation, where is this expectation? With what do you see this expectation? Because you don't see it with your eyes, with your ears, but with what? Or when you feel some intention to do something, like to do meditation, even to do Guru Yoga. Yeah. Notice, what is this intention? What is this desire? And just let this movement pass through your system, through your body, through your mind, and let it disappear. It appears by itself and it disappears by itself. Whatever thoughts there are, they just appear and disappear. And now, when we feel comfortable and we feel nothing to do, we allow ourselves to apply the method of Guru Yoga. I'm not saying we do Guru Yoga, because when we do something, then we immediately get tense. We feel, oh, this is something important, then we change our position. No, we remain as we are, comfortable. And then somebody is applying the method of Guru Yoga, and you already know how to apply the method of Guru Yoga. And we are just mirroring that. You know, like someone is yawning. You know this effect, that you are sitting in a group of people and then someone starts yawning. Yawning, 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 and then you start yawning. Do you know this effect? Did you have it or no? Yeah, it's natural. Yawning is contagious. Yeah, and Guru Yoga is also contagious. So it's like with yawning, you don't really need to start yawning to do yawning, but somebody is yawning and you are infected by that and you start yawning. So with Guru Yoga is exactly the same story. Yeah. So we just allow our voice to pronounce ah, and we feel it from the center. We are in the center. And we allow our mind to imagine the letter of ah and the 5-colored sphere surrounding this letter as a representation of our real condition, But if it is a representation of our real condition, it means we are not looking at it from the distance, from a side. It means we are ourselves, this symbol of white letter R in our own language. So for example, now here we have Laszlo, who is Hungarian. So for Laszlo, the letter R, to be R, we need a kind of a stroke above R. Otherwise, we have O. It is O, right, Laszlo?
R or R?
R.
R, without the stroke R?
Yeah.
R.
Yes, exactly, with a stroke. Sometimes we need a stroke. Sometimes we need a hard stroke. I remember once I was in Hungary, and then there was some man who came to me and he showed me the text, the Dzogchen text of Dzogchen practice, and the line was just 3 letters R, and he was asking me in Hungarian. I don't know, I know some bad words in Hungarian, I do know, but nothing else, but I could understand what he was asking me, because he was saying, like, showing these 3 letters R, but saying O. And he was asking, but what the hell is going on? Why you say, because it was Hungarian edition of the practices. And I was trying to explain him that even though it's written like this, but we pronounce like that, and it didn't work. And then I just asked for a pen. I asked for a pen and I put strokes on above each R, and then he was totally happy, because then it made complete sense for him. It became R. Yeah. So yeah. And I mean, we are lucky we are not Chinese in some way, because in Chinese it's very difficult, yeah, to have R. Then we have something like A, yeah. Because I read this, I saw some Dzogchen books in Chinese language, and then when they explain R, they don't have this syllable. Yeah. They have different syllable, which is pronounced like A. Yeah. It becomes a little complicated. So, but this is just R, something very natural. We let it sound, we let it resonate in our body, in our breathing, in our mind. How do we make it resonate in our mind, this R? Imagining the letter. Yeah, you can imagine, yeah? When you see something written in your language that you know, then you have this vibration in your mind, very subtle vibration. So we involve our body, we involve our voice, we involve our mind in a very, very simple way, just triggering it with the sound of R and this simple, very simple visualization. Yeah. And then through this visualization, we have this presence, like we are this R, and it is sounding, and there is some sound, and there is some clarity of 5 colors surrounding this R. And we are looking from inside, not from outside, at this R. And then we stop pronouncing, we stop any effort whatsoever for visualizing these things. And we just completely relax. But then we can notice that this presence of R, of this shape, of these colors, of this sound, this presence still continues. Yeah. You know, like when you go for like nice symphonic concert and you go out of the concert hall, the music still continues in your ears, right? So in the same way, we just continue in this presence. Or like when you are watching a horror movie and it's over, but you still have this terrible image of Donald Trump in your mind, of aliens or whatever. Or Putin, I don't know. You don't have it so much with comedy movies, so we don't keep Joe Biden in our mind very much. or Boris Johnson, no? So we are continuing in this present, just totally relaxed. And what is the secondary course? I'm going to start this, applying this method, and you just mirroring me. That's it. Yeah. Very simple. Okay, so usually when we are explaining some teaching, then we talk about the base, the path, and the fruit. And in general, it is something different. Like, but the base is the consideration of how we are, how is our real condition, our real situation. And the path is what we undertake, what we practice, what we cultivate, what we nourish in our condition. And then the fruit is something that we gain in the end of all this story. Yeah? And in Dzogchen, there is a similar explanation. And essentially, in Dzogchen, there is no difference between the base, what we explain as a base, or as a path, and as a fruit, because in Dzogchen, that what is the base? What is our real condition? We call it like instant presence when we are recognizing what is called bodhicitta or primordial state. We call it also instant presence. Yeah, and this instant presence is a kind of pure awareness which is underlying all cognitive acts. Whatever cognitive acts happen, there is some kind of awareness, primordial awareness, instant presence in that cognitive experience. So it means when we see something, when we see shapes, when we hear sounds, yeah, when we touch textures, when we are smelling smells, when we are tasting tastes, and when we are observing, noticing our thoughts, yeah, which is a kind of a sixth feeling, sixth sense, yeah, then it's all very different. Also, when we have emotions, when we are recognizing our emotions, our intentions, our desires, etc., these are all very different phenomena. But there is something unique which is unifying all that, and we call it the common of all differences. In Dzogchen Tantra, there are these words. So the common, what is common, or we can say also universal, for all different things. And what is that? What is common for all different things that can be perceived, yeah, that we can talk about? And what is common is our own instant presence, this primordial awareness, which is underlying any kind of cognitive act. And it is something that we don't really need to learn, yeah? Because we don't need to learn to see light, right? We need to learn how to distinguish one color from another color. Yeah, this is what we need to learn, to remember the colors, to know how to differentiate the colors. But to see colors, we don't need to learn. To see the light of different frequencies, we don't really need to learn. And to be aware of sounds, we don't need to learn. Also, to have thoughts, we don't need to learn. To think, we need to learn. Yeah. So some people here make a mistake, they take it for granted they can think. But for thinking, like for walking, we need to learn how to think. Yeah. But the capacity of being aware of our thoughts, this is not something we need to learn. This is something which is primordial. And basically this awareness is like a ground for everything, is the base for everything, this awareness. And this is what we are discovering through different kinds of exercises, through different kinds of practices, through different kinds of interaction, like between student and the teacher. What we are discovering in Dzogchen is always this instant presence, this primordial awareness. And this is the base of everything. This is the essential characteristic of our condition. Whatever can change, but this doesn't. Yeah, it's always the same. Yeah? And we cannot make it an object. The problem is we cannot make it a kind of object of our observation to compare with something, to check, etc. We can only discover it as our own real condition. And then when we are talking about the path is just to be in this presence, just to be in this recognition. And the fruit is the same, just to be without interruption. So the difference is that we are not occasionally in this condition, this state of contemplation or recognizing our primordial state, but it becomes 24/7. And everything is integrated, so no interruption. So this is the fruit. That's why also in Dzogchen teaching, they say that there is no some specific vision, some specific landscape manifesting. Yeah, it's the same. It's all the same. Yeah. And it is not something new that we create, but this is something that we discover, that we always have with us, but never recognize. Yeah. And if we elaborate what the path is, it's integrating with different kinds of experiences. And we have numerous experiences, but in Dzogchen, we are talking about 3 types of experiences. It's not just 3 experiences. These are 3 types, 3 very, very broad categories of experiences, not just some single specific things. And basically, these experiences, even though we are discussing, we can discuss them separately, but it doesn't mean they're really separate from each other, because they relate to 3 important characteristics of our condition, which are called, in Dzogchen, we call them essence and nature and energy, but these are just terms. Yeah. And these 3 experiences are emptiness, clarity, and sensation. Yeah. So today we'll try to deal with these 3 experiences and to discover them in our condition, to discover these 3 primordial wisdoms in our condition. Dealing one by one, but in real sense, they are always there all together. Yeah. So number one is the essence, yeah, but we call it the essence. We can also call it nature, yeah, but we call it essence or nature, doesn't really matter. The thing is, the important thing is that it is empty, yeah, it is emptiness. And this emptiness is not this like emptiness of philosophers that we do. It's okay, yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I see. I'm well taken care of here. Almost red color. I'm looking like a llama. Fortunately, not like a camel so far. Just llama. Yeah. I don't know if I have enough fur to to weave socks out of me. Okay, so it is not a kind of emptiness of philosophers that we are thinking, analyzing, and then we are coming to some kind of conclusion that there is emptiness, etc. But we can try to discover this kind of emptiness. There are many different ways to discover this, because emptiness also, it's not just one single thing. There can be many different kinds, yeah? Like when we are talking about music, yeah? There are many things that we call music, and sometimes we do not agree whether it's music or not. And something that people say, no, no, this is music, yeah? And then people say, no, it's not music. No, it's not music. Yeah, I believe even when Mozart was playing his like new music, people would say, this is not music. No, no, definitely. So, but in any case, there are different kinds of experiences of emptiness. And what we try now is just notice your thoughts. And definitely, I guess you have many thoughts at the moment. Yeah, many thoughts, whatever thoughts you have. Okay. So, do you have thoughts? Okay. If I were like a Protestant pastor, I would ask you, say, do you have thoughts? And you all do. Yes, we have thoughts. Yeah. Oh, I'm no longer a lama, but that's okay. So, okay. I'll try to move you a little bit. So if you have thoughts, you show, yeah. If you don't have thoughts, you show like this. Yeah. Okay, good. You have thoughts. And how do you know you have thoughts? How do you know you have thoughts? Just think. You have thoughts, yeah? But how do you know you have thoughts? It's not that somebody told you have thoughts, right? Sometimes people try to tell us, you think that it's called mind reading, yeah? Like there are so many people who can do mind reading. And particularly like, I saw so many people who know what Putin is thinking. Absolutely, like in newspapers, on television, see Putin is thinking this and this and that. Yeah, I wonder why these people don't invest on stock exchange, because if you know what Putin is thinking, then you have a great inside information, yeah, can make a lot of money. Yeah. Really, if I knew what he was thinking, I would be like investing into this or into that, or withdrawing my money. Yeah. But it's people are telling you what Putin is thinking about, but what you are thinking about, yeah? How do you know you have thoughts? How do you know what you are thinking about? You know, sometimes I meet a kind of list of questions. The wrong questions a woman should never ask a man. Yeah, and number one is never ask, what do you think? Yeah, what are you thinking about? Not what do you think, but what are you thinking about at the moment? Yeah, because men would lie mainly. Yeah, so but we must know what we are thinking about. And how do we know what we are thinking about? How do we know we have thoughts? Yeah, check. Where do you see your thoughts? You see thoughts, you have thoughts. You know that. You're absolutely, definitely positive you have thoughts. Yeah. So if you have thoughts, where do you see them? If you have thoughts, from where do you see them? Check, from where do you see your thoughts? Where are you looking at these thoughts? Where are all these thoughts? So if they appear, where do they appear from? Some thought is coming. You didn't have it 3 seconds ago, you didn't have this thought. And now you have it, but where did it come from? Can you locate? And where is your thought now? And then when it's gone, where does it disappear? We don't really need a special position to do this. But you notice you have thoughts. Where are you looking from at these thoughts? Where do you see these thoughts from? And where do you see these thoughts? Are you thinking these thoughts, or the thoughts are manifesting by themselves? Okay, you have this and that thought. Are you really thinking them? Did you create them, or they just manifest? Just observe. And when we are observing our thoughts like this, then we can discover a dimension where thoughts are manifesting. A kind of space, a kind of a dimension, a kind of volume. So it's like with the vision, with our visual perception. We are usually concentrated on different objects. Yeah, but between these objects, there is space. And there is volume where these objects manifest, can be seen. But usually we are too much concentrated on different objects. We concentrate on this and then we concentrate on that. So the same story with thoughts. When we have a thoughts, we get totally obsessed with this thought. We are collapsing into this thought and it becomes our thought. 1 second ago, we never knew about this thought, but now it's our thought. And now we are going to defend it. Or being afraid of it. Oh, I cannot have these thoughts. How can it be? Yeah. Like sometimes you can be with your best friend at some viewpoint, etc., some high place, and then you have a thought, or maybe I push my friend to fall from this cliff or whatever. And say, no, I cannot have this thought. No. Or maybe if you are American, for example, you can have a terrible thought. Maybe I vote for Trump. Oh, no, I cannot have this thought. No, it's impossible. So it means that we are collapsing into our thoughts. We consider them real. We treat them like real. Yeah. Like we are thinking about the future and we treat our thoughts about future as if it had already happened. No. So, but when we are observing this way, these thoughts, yeah, we are observing this way, where do they come from? Do they come from the right? Do they come from the left? From Democrats or from Republicans? No. Do they come from behind? Do they come from the front? From the top? From down? From below? From inside? From outside? We're trying. Are these thoughts inside our head or are they outside our head? And from where are we looking at these thoughts? So then you can notice that these thoughts are just appearing and you are not thinking them. Do you have this experience? Can you discover you have thoughts, not thinking them? Good. So just remain a little bit in this presence, like thoughts are appearing, but there is no one who is thinking them. Yeah, of course, it can be the world government who is thinking our thoughts for us, for sure, but we don't see world government at the moment, so it's like they are just appearing. And also these 5G stations are sending thoughts to us, yeah, you know. But we're just observing our thoughts appearing, manifesting, while we are not thinking these thoughts. This is a kind of a key moment, a crucial moment that we discover that the thoughts, there are thoughts, but we are not thinking them. So just remain in this state, yeah, when there are nobody who is thinking these thoughts. This is one of examples of having this no-self experience, you know, non-self, which is very famous Buddhist experience, non-self. Yeah, it is not something that is like very difficult to achieve. Here is an example. We have thoughts, but nobody is thinking these thoughts. Yeah. This is already kind of emptiness. Already some kind of emptiness, that there are thoughts, but there is no one who is thinking them. And then we can notice that there are thoughts and there is a space where these thoughts are manifesting. Some kind of dimension where the thoughts are manifesting. So it means that we are no longer concerned with the content of these thoughts. But we just notice the raw fact that these thoughts manifest regardless the content of these thoughts. And then we can notice the dimension where these thoughts manifest. And this dimension is as empty as a space that we are seeing with our eyes. Yeah? We just remain in this recognition of empty space, empty dimension, where the thoughts manifest. So we don't do anything special. We are just noticing our thoughts. Maybe you think about what you're going to do tonight. Maybe you think about what you were doing this morning or whatever time of the day you have. It doesn't matter. But whatever you're thinking about, just notice it as a just raw fact of thinking. So you no need to eliminate thinking. There are many systems of practice where they start with eliminating thinking, eliminating thoughts. But there is no need. Because we can notice thoughts. And through thoughts, we notice the dimension where thoughts manifest. This dimension. Try to find if there are limits, if there are borders for this dimension. And you don't need to keep your eyes closed. You can stay with your eyes open because you still can, you can easily still can see your thoughts even with your eyes open. And discover this dimension. So can you tell if it's inside or outside this dimension? So do we need effort to be in this dimension? Do we need any effort? We might need effort to generate thoughts. We might need effort to block thoughts. But when we effortlessly have thoughts and they just appear on their own, do you need any effort whatsoever to be in this empty dimension where thoughts manifest, to be in the presence of this dimension? And whatever is manifesting in this dimension is like a reflection in the mirror. And what does it mean, the reflection in the mirror? It means that it has no history. For example, what does it mean that things have history? Yeah. Okay. Like you can see me drinking tea from the cup. And this is a very nice glass cup. Transparent. But that's not the point. When if there is a history, this cup, how did it appear, this cup? So probably, I'm not doing mind reading, but I suppose that when you think how this cup appeared, we can have more or less a story that first it was a sand, yeah? And this sand was collected and it was brought to some glass factory. And there they were like making, mixing it with the with sodium, yeah, and then creating in some ovens, creating this glass, and then stamping this this cup, and then this cup was taken by some truck. It was taken to the shop. And then somebody went to this shop and bought this cup and then brought this cup to this place where I am now. Yeah, this is what we call history, right? And we all have history like this for ourselves. Yeah. And we also have history like this for everything that appears. Yeah. Everything that appears to us, we can have a history, similar history like this. Yeah. But in real sense, where is this cup now? Here, those of you who are online, you don't see this cup anymore. And now I'm hiding this cup also from people who are present here in the link. Where is this cup? Where is this cup? This is how this cup appears. This is all history of this cup. This is how it disappears. So this is like the reflection in the mirror is working. So if you see it as a reflection in the mirror, yeah, you go to the mirror, you show cup to the mirror and you see a reflection. But in the mirror that you have in at your home, yeah, you have a home and you can have a reflection of this cup, not of this cup, but of the cup that you have at home. You can have a reflection in the mirror. But do you have in your mirror the history of reflections of sand, sodium, factory, truck driver, maybe drunk, yeah? Do you have a shop? Do you have somebody who bought or reflection of somebody who went to the reflection of a shop and bought the reflection of a cup and brought it to the reflection of Randroling, yeah? No, you just have a reflection without any history, just coming from nowhere like this and disappearing into nowhere like this. So when we are recognizing, it's also emptiness. It's also some kind of emptiness because there is no history there. Mirror is not accumulating history. yeah, does not record any history. Yeah. So everything which is appearing in this dimension has the same nature, like in the mirror, 3D mirror, not a flat mirror, but 3D mirror. And this is not only visual mirror, but it's also audio mirror. Yeah. Usually we are not thinking very much about audio mirror, but there is echo. Yeah. So there is a difference between recorded sound and echoed sound. Yeah. So echo mirror. Yeah. So all sounds we have, it's like an echo. Yeah. And then also this mirror, it is a mirror also for tastes and for smells, for everything. So whatever is manifesting in this dimension, which is like a mirror, has no history. It's just manifestation, raw manifestation. It's our conceptual mind is ascribing history to all events which are happening in this dimension. But it's like believing that there is if we have a reflection of the cup in the mirror, then there is a reflection of a factory where it was produced, which is absurd. So we discover this dimension and we just remain in this dimension, in the presence of this dimension. So recognizing this condition, this mirror-like condition, is also a kind of wisdom of emptiness. But not only emptiness, because also we can see things. Yeah. So what do we need to see if we have our eyes and we have objects in front of us? What do we need also to be able to see things? We need light. We need some kind of luminosity to be able to see things. So in the same way, what do we need to see thoughts? Because we see thoughts. Yeah. We can see thoughts. They're not hidden from us. It means that there is some kind of luminosity, transparency in this dimension. So this is not, this empty dimension is not just darkness, but it is transparent and it is luminous. Because if it were dark, we wouldn't be able to see thoughts. We wouldn't be able to see what there. So it means there is some kind of light, but light, it's not really light like physical light, but it's a kind of luminosity that enables us to be aware of our thoughts, enables us to perceive what's happening in our minds. When I was a teenager, like 17, 18, and even a little bit later, I liked very much the German writer, Hans Erich Nossak, a writer from Hamburg, who was writing different things, but some of his writings were a little bit mystical. And I remember the question that he was asking in one of his novels, and this question, it just struck me, striking me. The question was, when you see dreams, where does the light come from? When we see the dreams, where does the light come from? Because there is light in our dreams, no? If there was no this light, we wouldn't be able to see dreams, yeah? We would have just dived into the darkness and then re-emerged from this darkness to the light, the physical light. Yeah. But this light that appears in dreams and allows us to see dreams is exactly the same luminosity that allows us to see our thoughts when we are awake, not sleeping. It's exactly the same light, the same luminosity. So when we see thoughts, we can recognize this luminosity. And if we cannot recognize, then we can do an exercise. Just again, check if you're sitting comfortably, relaxed, feeling nice. And then imagine the light spreading from you in this dimension, in this empty dimension. Just imagine the light spreading from you in all directions. In front, behind, to the sides, below, upwards, doesn't matter. Just imagine the light is spreading, like a sphere of light. So sometimes in the movies, like fantastic movies, you can see this kind of visualization. When there's a Terminator movie, yeah, I think, when this first sphere appears around the Terminator, around Schwarzenegger, yeah, and then boom, yeah. So something like this, yeah. It can be different way, can be slow, can be fast, doesn't matter. The point is that you can imagine light. Can you see the light that you imagine? Can you imagine light? I'm sure most of you can imagine light. And even there are some people who say, I cannot imagine anything, but it's just because of misunderstanding the word imagine. Because can you remember light? Can you remember light? Can you remember darkness? Of course. I saw many people who would say that I cannot imagine light, but I never saw a person who would say, I cannot remember light. Okay, so remembering and imagining is exactly the same thing. There is no difference. So remember light, imagine light, spread this light. Spread this light everywhere in this empty dimension, beyond all limits, beyond all borders. So it's like you are dissipated in all universe, over all universe. And then you return back where you have been before you started to spread light. And then you can do it once again. You spread light to the infinity in all directions. And then you return where you have been previously. So it's like expanding and collapsing, expanding and collapsing. Or we say like spreading and reabsorbing, spreading and reabsorbing. These are just words, but main thing is just we fill the universe with the light, and then we forget about this light, just being as we are. And just notice this dimension. After you stop doing this exercise, you just do it for a few times and then you just remain. And then you can notice that you can clearly see your thoughts. Just clearly see in your mind. So just discover just the very raw fact of this clarity. So this is another experience, the experience of clarity. Just recognizing the luminosity that allows us to see our thoughts. Recognizing that luminosity that allows us to imagine light or to remember light. So this is clarity. And now we can remain in both presence of emptiness and presence of clarity. And if you want, you can try to distinguish where there is emptiness and where there is clarity, if they are different or not. Okay. How is your experience? If you want to say, you say, how is your experience? Anyone who's present here in the link, you want to share, how is your experience from this experience? Still being in this experience. No experience.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Express. Express. Okay. Mercedes Martin. I will allow you to turn on the sound and you can say something. Okay. Okay. Mercedes, please. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, I can hear
Do
you.
you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I feel a special calm, a special feeling. I have a lot of thinking, and after that, I feel calm and different state of mind.
Ah, good. Good. Was it easy to feel this calm? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Anyone else? Because it's important that we have experience. Okay, Pascal, please.
Yes, for me, emptiness and clarity are not different, but sometimes I feel stronger emptiness. In general, it's my experience. But at the same time, in this moment, clarity can be more present in certain form. But I feel it's not absolutely not different.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Great. Yeah. It's.
I would.
Please, Yasmin. Yeah.
I have a different experience because I feel when I'm trying to actually be aware of the and compare the difference, if there is a difference, there is almost a third phenomena happening and almost pushing me not want to it's almost pushing me, pulling me, or not to see it. I don't know how to explain this. It's almost like trying to distract me from looking both ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But how was your experience with emptiness separately, with clarity separately? How was it?
The emptiness was much more accessible. I could ease into it. With clarity, I think I had to be aware where I was distracting from clarity. So it was already there, and I was just pulling away from it, and I was trying not to pull away from the clarity.
Okay. You don't try to hold yourself. You don't try. You just let it appear. So if you notice the distraction is just the part of this clarity. Something that is distracting you is just a part of this clarity in the same dimension. So it's not like some factor which is distracting you is different from the clarity and emptiness that you are experiencing. Is the part of that. So there is nothing to hold on to. And if you feel something is like moving you, okay, let it move you. And we will deal with this sensation. This is actually the sensation. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, Tashi, please.
The more I sort of relax into the sensation of the emptiness and pass through things as they arise, it seems to dial up the edge of the clarity, the sharpness of the clarity. The two seem completely inseparable to me. The more I experience emptiness, the more it dissolves in the moment, the sharper my sense of clarity becomes. The two things definitely don't seem apart from each other.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, Dorothea.
Yeah, I kind of like to hear that, because for me, the emptiness and clarity experiences are totally undistinguishable. And I sometimes worry a little bit in other kinds of meditation, where you have to distinguish and just experience emptiness and just experience, and I never managed to say, it's just like, I can't make any difference. So I felt I messed things up, but probably I just am in the right state.
Yeah, it's impossible to separate them.
I cannot.
The experiences can be different, but these two qualities of emptiness and luminosity or clarity, they're always inseparable. We can have experiences that stress one of these aspects, yeah? Because like when we have light, when we are imagining light and we remain in this clarity, it's more like related to the clarity. Yeah, but the dimension where this light appears, if you are concentrated on light that appears, that of course we are collapsing just into this sensation, into this experience of clarity. But if at the same time we are aware of the dimension where this light is, that it's already emptiness, because it's an empty dimension. This is what like in Buddhist called Dharma Dhatu, yeah? The dimension of phenomena. So we cannot separate it. If we see something, it means already there is some emptiness, there is some space, yeah? And if we see something, there is some clarity.
Yeah, and I feel when you try to distinguish it or leaning more to one or the other side, you're already adding thoughts, because in itself, it's just one and the same space.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's just continue. Yeah, let's just continue, because it's accessible. Yeah, whenever you have thoughts, you can notice that there is a dimension for these thoughts to arise and to disappear. And whenever you have thoughts, it means that you are aware of these thoughts. They manifest. It means there is some kind of luminosity. It is light in your mind. Yeah, you see, like when you see object, it means there is light, right? You don't see light. Nobody can see light. Yeah. Nobody can see light. Yeah. But we can understand there is light when we see objects, when we see something, when we see some flashes, whatever, then we understand there is light. But light as such, it cannot be an object of our observation. Yeah. So when we see thoughts, it means there is clarity. We are aware of the fact that we see thoughts. We are not thinking about the fact that we see thoughts, but we are aware of the fact that we see thoughts. Because thinking about seeing thoughts means collapsing into a new thought. So instead of collapsing into new thought, we discover whatever thought we have, even if it's a thought of light, but we are not collapsing into it. Remaining in expanse, yeah? We have many, many different kind of words for the space, dimension, expanse, volume, yeah? Just to clarify, to indicate the meaning. But the point is that we are not collapsing into one thing. It's a kind of an omnipresence. Ah, good question. Why can't I just see the light? Yeah, it's like, why can't I see the movement? When you break up, when we watch the movie, yeah, we see the movement, right? Somebody is moving, yeah. Even you see me now on your screen, yeah, but your screen is changing like probably 50, 60 times per second, maybe 25, yeah. But for HD, sometimes we have like 50 or 60 times per second, frames per second on your screen. But you feel it like a movement, yeah? But there is no movement there. If you take 2 frames from a movie, yeah, there is nothing that goes from one frame to another frame, yeah? But we have this perception, we have this illusion, yeah, that there is something moving from one moment to another, but one moment is a frame and another moment is another frame. Yeah? And there is nothing that goes from one frame into another frame, except maybe for Donald Trump, but still I'm not very sure. Yeah. So, and the same thing with the light. But when we see light, what do we really see? What do we really see when we see the light? Yeah. We see objects we see light. But can we see light, just light? Even from physical point of view, we don't see light.
Rainbow.
Yeah, but rainbow, light, yeah.
It's refraction of light.
Yeah.
It's an expression of light.
Yeah. Yeah. We see colors, yeah, we see something, but this is not light, no? Because it's very funny what Dmitry here is saying, like we see a rainbow, but what's happening with the rainbow? Did you ever try to chase the rainbow? Did you ever try to chase the rainbow? Yeah, we tried to chase the rainbow. What we discover that as far as we move towards the rainbow is moving the same distance from us. Yeah. So we cannot chase the rainbow. Why? Because the perception of rainbow is in us, in ourselves. It's not outside. And the fact that rainbow can be photographed is just the fact that the photo camera has the same principle as our eye has. Yeah. The same principle. And we do not see light. Yeah. Basically, what we see light is some activity of our neurons which are stimulated by physical light, and in our cortex we have some activity. This is what we call light, yeah. And actually this light can be stimulated without any light, can be stimulated chemically, can be stimulated mechanically, etc. This light that we really see. You know, when we go to the dark retreat, yeah, we see light. Why we see light? We roll our eyes upwards, and in this way we stimulate the optical nerve, and then we start to see light. Yeah. So there are different ways to stimulate visions. This is one of them. Yeah. But it has nothing to do with the physical light. Yeah. We see flashes. We can call it light. It's like when we call movement. But then we should just understand when we see light, what do we really see? Yeah. But we can understand when we see light, when it's light. It's not that we see light, but we know there is light. Yeah. And it's good, as one guy said, yeah, when there was light. Okay, so we just remember we see thoughts, yeah, and through these thoughts we discover the empty dimension, and this dimension is luminous because we can see through it. We can see what's happening in this dimension. So we are just remaining in this, and when we are observing whatever is happening in the mind in this way, in this dimension, yeah, it's not that we are thinking, but it is still happening. How do we feel about it? Do we feel it's real? Because usually when we are collapsing into our thought, what we are thinking becomes very, very real for us. Very real, so real that we can be afraid of it. We can be in love with what we think, yeah? So we can be attached, we can be afraid and trying to escape from this, yeah? You know, many people are trying to escape from their thoughts and they commit suicide, yeah? This is one of the big reasons, right, to commit suicide, because people cannot get rid of their thoughts, yeah? Just thoughts drive people mad, thoughts drive people crazy, thoughts drive people for killing themselves, yeah? And sometimes others, yeah? But basically always to kill others, you need the thought, yeah? Because we feel, oh, this is the enemy. If I only could kill this enemy, then I would be happy, yeah? So considering all we are thinking as real, yeah? But then when we are not collapsing and when we are remaining in this dimension, then you can notice it's not that real. Think about your worst enemy. Let this image appear in this dimension without collapsing into that image. Think about some disaster. Does it seem that real as usual or not? So think about things that you are very much attached to. I don't know, maybe it is some taste like sweet things, or maybe it's a person. Just let this image arise in your mind, the image of something that as soon as this image is arising, that you immediately are falling into this. Oh, I like it so much. I want it so much. I never want to let it go. Yeah. But now this image in this dimension with this presence, how is it? Is it still that attractive? Is it still that real as it used to be? So this is how we can discover this quality of illusoriness. Yeah. And then we can laugh. We can laugh about our fears, whatever is frightening us in our minds, or whatever is attracting us in our minds. We can laugh about it. We can say, ha ha. Whatever image appears to your mind, you say, ha ha, ha, and laugh. Yeah. Do it with your breathing. Yeah. Whatever thought, whatever image appears, ha ha. Okay, you have a problem. Okay, this is the end of the year. Maybe you have problems with your taxes. Yeah, ha ha. Okay. Whatever is all your attitude, I don't know about vaccination, anti-vaccination, doesn't matter. But whether you are concerned about all these terrible people who do not want to vaccinate, ha. Or maybe you're concerned with those terrible people who try to make you vaccinate and connect you to 3G or 5G. Yeah, say, ha. So whatever is there, ha. And when you breathe out with this laughter, ha, you don't breathe in immediately. Just relax, get some kind of moment of suspense in this exhalation, but relaxed without effort. Just ha. Whatever problem is appearing to your mind, laugh into the face of this problem. Somebody of your close ones doesn't want to behave the way you want him or her to behave. Somebody who's driving you crazy. Okay. Russia. America. Migrants. Greta Thunberg.
Igor Berkhin.
Yeah, whatever, whoever. Yeah, then I can say something now that maybe some people first feel shocked, but some of your closed ones died. You have big problem. How do you feel in your body? Yeah. Okay. How do you feel? Okay. How do you feel? Good. How do you feel? Yeah. And all these things, and you can laugh into their face because they are not real. Even these troubles are in a way real, but one thing is physical reality, and another thing is our reality of our mind. And in this reality, we can do, ha ha. And then we discover that even in physical reality, things change, becomes different for us. Not that heavy, not that material, not that concrete. Just we can do this, ha ha. Okay. Apply. Try. If you're not alone and you are concerned what people next to me is thinking about me. Ha ha. Because usually for us, it's very important, this mind reading. What does this person think of me? What is this person's perception of me, of myself, of my beautiful self, or my terrible self, whatever. And we are very much concerned and we freeze. It makes us frozen when we are collapsing into thinking what the other person is thinking about me. Don't worry, this person is thinking about someone else at this moment. Yeah. So, it means that we can so easily be conditioned, not only by our thoughts, but by our thoughts about what other people think about us. Ridiculous, crazy, but we are conditioned by that. Yeah, and we have terrible problems because of that. It doesn't mean that we do not respect other people's feelings. This is a different story. You can respect other people's feelings, but you don't need to care what they think about you. Okay. Just, haha. When you discover how illusory are your own thoughts, then you can understand that other people's thoughts about you or about whatever have the same nature. So, haha. Okay. So now we do a short break for about 20 minutes. During this break, of course, you do what your body needs to do. And please prepare some food, whatever. If you are non-vegetarian, you can prepare some meat. If you're vegetarian, you don't have to, but whatever you like. Also, it's better if you prepare something that you like, that gives you a feeling of pleasure, and also to drink. So if you are a Dzogchen practitioner, then you can, we use alcohol, yeah? But you don't have to use alcohol, whatever, but also something you like. If you don't like alcohol, don't use it, yeah? No need, yeah? If you like cyanide, okay, whatever, you know. sulfur acid, whatever you drink at this time of the day. I don't know. Yeah. So take it. It's something that gives you nice feelings. Yeah. Yeah. So prepare just small portions. We don't need much, because this is something which is connected to our body. And the next experience that we are going to discuss is related to our body. It is called sensation. And mainly it's about blissful sensation, pleasant sensation. Okay, so let's meet in 20 minutes. See you later. Okay. So we are continuing to feel good and make ourselves comfortable, make ourselves warm. Just enjoying your moment. Everything is completed. No need to change anything. No special position, no special breathing, no special attitude or concentration. And then you just notice the fact that you have thoughts, that you are noticing your thoughts. and you discover this vast dimension, this vast expanse, where these thoughts are manifesting. So it's like step number one, you discover you have thoughts. Step number two, you discover the dimension where these thoughts manifest, the space between thoughts, not meaning the space in time between thoughts, but the space in space between thoughts. Where are you in this space? Where are thoughts in this space? And discover that very fact that you can see thoughts is because these thoughts, they have their own luminosity. This space has its own luminosity, and also these thoughts are not different from this space. Like an image in the mirror is not different, it's not separate from the mirror itself. Cannot exist separately. So let's remain for a while in the presence of this vast and empty luminous dimension. Vast because if you try to find any limits for this dimension, any borders for this dimension, you can always find that there is no such border. So we are just remaining in this presence. And remaining in this presence, we apply the method of Guru Yoga. And when we sound ah, then we feel the sensation of ah. So there is also a dimension of our body, our bodily sensation. So just remaining in this dimension of emptiness and clarity, then you can notice that there is also breathing. And breathing means that there is a sensation related to breathing. That your body is expanding and contracting in this dimension. So it's not like we are observing dualistically some process of breathing or some point, like a point below the nostrils, like we do in some Buddhist practices. No, but we just remain in this dimension of emptiness and luminosity. And then we notice breathing, what we call breathing. But what we call breathing is just a kind of a pattern of our sensations. There is nothing that can be called really breathing. But there is just the pattern of the sensations, which is cyclic in its nature. Cyclic and repetitive. So you can notice this movement, because the best word that can describe it is just movement. This sensation is movement. So you notice this sensation of movement related to your breathing, the breathing as a cyclic and repetitive process. But then, being in this presence, you notice, where is this movement? Where do I notice it from? So we are sitting, relaxed, comfortable, which is already a sensation, which is already related to our body. In the presence of this empty dimension where thoughts manifest, and this natural clarity, natural luminosity, which is our capacity to perceive as such. Not only to perceive our thoughts, but also natural clarity of our senses. So we see things. We see some movement through our eyes. We perceive some movement through our ears. And the tactile sensations and bodily sensations. Maybe we can also smell and taste. So in general, whatever kind of perception we have, we are noticing that there is some clarity of perceiving things. So notice how your body is breathing, but notice it as a sensation, as a movement. And when your breathing is changing the direction from inhalation to exhalation, from exhalation to inhalation, just notice this moment of suspension. So it's like a pendulum, like a swing that goes one way, gets momentarily suspended in the extreme point, and then changes the direction and smoothly goes back. So notice that this is the sensation that we have is exactly like this. What we call our breathing. The sensation that we call our breathing. So in this expanse of emptiness and clarity and awareness, we are aware of the movement of our body. And this is not the movement that we are doing intentionally. This is the movement that just happens. And the way we notice it is like a sensation. So this is the third dimension of our existence, the sensation, which is always there. As long as we have our physical body, we have the sensation. So we notice this cyclic sensation of breathing. We don't see breathing, we just notice the sensations. It's our mind that compiles all these sensations into breathing, into what we call breathing. But primarily, it's just the sensation. This is how it is available for us. In this dimension of emptiness and clarity, we have naturally arising sensation that we usually call breathing. And we can notice that it is not at all like what our mind imagines as a breathing. Our mind has an idea of breathing, how breathing takes place. But this is not what we perceive. This is what our mind is imposing. So we are trying to notice what we really perceive as breathing. Because our mind is fooling us in many ways. So when you are breathing, where do you feel this breathing? Where do you feel the sensation related to breathing? And then you can notice that it is not just your chest moving up and down, or your belly moving forward and back, but you can notice the sensation in all of your body. You can notice the sensation of inhalation and the sensation of exhalation. You can notice in your fingers, you can notice it in your toes. All your body is reacting. All your body is responding. All your body is involved. Not just lung, not just ribs, not just chest, not just belly. Everything. And now in this dimension, when you discover the dimension of your body in this way. So this is what we discover. Because very often, particularly in the Western society, we are very much detached from the sensations of our body. We just have an image of our body. But this is how through breathing, we discover the dimension of our body. So we can notice the sensation in all parts of our body. So just discover this dimension of movement, this dimension of your body, which is exactly the dimension of sensation. And it is not separate from the dimension of emptiness. And this is not separate from the dimension of luminosity or awareness, because it's related to awareness. We are noticing this. So when there is no movement of breathing, like in the moments when the breathing is suspended between inhalation and exhalation, between exhalation and inhalation, but there is still something. So discover this dimension of sensation, discover this dimension of the body. And when you discover this and you remain and you get familiar with this dimension, then put a piece of food into your mouth and notice your sensations, how your sensations are manifesting when you put a piece of food into your mouth. How is the dimension of your body responding to this food? Just a small piece of food. It's not called even eating. It's not even called like having a snack. It's just tasting. And also the drink. And notice how the dimension of your body is responding. So if you have ordinary drink, it's not responding that strong, but if you have an alcoholic drink, that it's responding more evident. So this is another kind of sensation. Sensation related to the taste, which is nourishing our body. So our body is responding to it. This is the movement in the dimension of our body. And you can notice that this dimension of mind, of emptiness, and this dimension of your senses, which is clarity, like noticing how things are moving, colors are moving in front of your eyes, sounds are moving through your ears. How this is connected, inseparably connected to the dimension of the sensation of your body, which is breathing, which is partaking the food and drink. So you can notice this totality of all three. emptiness and clarity and sensation, all three together. And who is aware of all these three experiences? So we can discover that there is awareness of all three, and this awareness does not have some specific center. It does not have some specific location. We are just aware of this emptiness, aware of this clarity, aware of this sensation. Just remaining in this awareness and the presence of all three experiences together, experience of empty dimension, experience of a clarity of senses, experience of the dimension and sensation of the body. We apply again the method of Guru Yoga, combining all three experiences together. We feel the sensation of the body through the sound ah, and also we have natural clarity of our senses. And when we imagine ah and five-colored sphere, where does it take place? In the dimension of emptiness, which is also luminous. And we are this awareness, we are this experience. We are not different from the white ah, we are not different from the sound ah. And when the sound disappears, when we no longer apply the visualization, but we still remain in this residue, in this feeling, sensation, and clarity and emptiness. And who is aware of all these? Ah. And we can repeat this method of Guru Yoga and then relax again, just recognizing who is present in this sensation, in this clarity, in this emptiness. Ah.
Just remaining in this awareness again, we take a piece of food and we put it into our mouths. Noticing the sensations, noticing the taste, which is also clarity. Not devouring like an animal, but being in the presence of this sensation, the presence of your somatic bodily dimension. And also drinking. And we notice if we are enjoying it or not. If it's good or not. If it's giving us, generating pleasure in us or not. So this is how we continue our life, yeah, eating and drinking. Being in this sensation. Because when we say we do practice of Gana Puja, this is the essence of Gana Puja. Because essence of Gana Puja is not that we make an altar and we are praying to some deities or we are giving to some beings, symbolically giving to some beings who are in need. Because this is symbolic. When we are doing offering to deities, like to 3 roots, to Guru Deva Dakini, this is symbolic. Yeah, they don't eat that sausage. They don't drink this wine. Yeah. Chagyanam Kanoro once told the story that he had some student in Italy, and the student was complaining that he did Gana Puja in his garden, and he left also offerings for 3 roots for Guru Deva Dakini, but then he came the next day, they were still there, nobody took them. So probably he had an idea that somebody from the heaven, you know, a hand, the heaven splits, and then a big hand is descending from heaven, grabbing this sausage of prosciutto and a glass of wine, disappears. And, thank you. Yeah. So Rinpoche was laughing about this, like, because people really expect this kind of things. Yeah. But it's not the main thing. Also, when we are giving to symbolically to someone who needs, this is a symbolic thing. But when we are integrating with the taste, when we are integrating with the sensation, when we are integrating with this something material, very concrete, this is the essence of practice. This is what we call offering to our own state.
Yeah. And also look at this moment. Yeah. Look, you have a piece of sausage, for example, I have here. And this sausage is not me. No, it's not my body. It's something absolutely external to me, alien to me. But then I put it on my tongue. And it starts dissolving and it becomes my body. Something that was not my body is becoming my body. So this is an example of integration, that we perceive something as something external, not being ourselves, but then we discover that there is no separation. There is no border. This is our state. There is no separation between our experience and us who is experiencing that. So that's why it is called non-dual instant presence. But when we are collapsing into concentration, then it becomes dualistic. There is outer and inner. Okay. So enjoy the dimension of your body. And there are different ways to enjoy the dimension of the body. Like you can just touch objects next to you. Touch the wood, the wool, glass, metal, whatever. Different textures, cold and warm. And notice how this touch is generating the sensation. So this is how we discover these three dimensions of our existence. We discover the emptiness, where all this happens, and also the sensation is happening in this emptiness. Because when we feel the taste, and we go beyond mind, beyond thinking, then where does this sensation happen? We cannot really locate. We know, it's on the tongue, it's on the throat, but this is our mind that knows. It's just the idea of our mind. Because it's just sensation. We cannot even say it's everywhere. So it's just the sensation in this emptiness, arising from emptiness. Put a piece of food on your tongue and notice how the sensation is arising. And then you discover that there is no specific place from where it is arising. It's just arising. There was no this sensation and now it's there. In general, we are dominated by our mind. And when we are dominated by our mind, we have a kind of mental map of our body. Like, what do we feel? Oh, okay. What I feel, how I feel my weight. Oh, I feel my ass is pressing on my seat. No. But when you have this feeling of this pressure, what is the distance between you and this sensation of pressure? And if you are in your mind, then this distance is about, I don't know, ½ meter, 70 centimeters. There is this distance, the distance between your head and between your ass. But if you are beyond mind, that we just discover there is a sensation, a kind of sensation of pressure. We call it pressure, but this is just a kind of sensation. And we cannot say that this sensation is 50 centimeters or 70 centimeters away from us. No. There is no difference. If we can feel it, then there is no distance. So this is how we remain in this recognition. And we can maintain these with every step. We can maintain these with every word, because every word also creates the sensation. Every touch, every step, every movement. You move your shoulder, you have the sensation. You move your head, you have the sensation. And if you are not dominated by our mind, that is just the sensation. And it's always there. It never stops. It never stops. As long as we have awareness, as long as we have sensitivity, the very fact of sensation never stops. So just let your body move and feel the sensation which is arising in your body. Just whatever movement, anything, with the hands, with the legs, with the jaws, with your eyes, doesn't matter. But you can feel that every kind of movement is generating sensation. And who is aware of this sensation? How does this sensation manifest? And this becomes the way to develop our practice. This is the way to integrate. Because we don't really need an effort to generate sensation. Like, for example, there are practices where we apply effort to generate sensation, like Tummo practice. Or like, for example, sexual practice of union of a male and female. We need a kind of effort. We need to do something special to generate specific sensations. But the sensations are generated everywhere, all the time, never stopping. So we discover this dimension of sensation, and we maintain this presence together with the presence of emptiness, which is also always there, and the presence of clarity, which is also always there. And it becomes a kind of a totality of our state. Not everything is included, nothing is excluded. What we call in Dzogchen teaching, we have an expression, Dagni Chenpo, which in Indian languages, it's something like Maha Atman. But Maha Atman doesn't mean that there is small Atman and there is big Atman. No, because it's like, it's not that Atman. It can be, I don't know, Schwarzman, Goldman, Atman, you know, this kind of things. Can be small, can be big. But Maha Atman means total self. Everything is included. So there is nothing outside. Then the very distinction inside and outside is waning, is disappearing, because there is no border. And everything is included. So this is the totality of one state. Chogyal Namkhai was explaining this principle of Maha Atman with the words, the totality of one's state. And we don't need anything artificial. We don't need anything special, really, to develop, to maintain this awareness, because whatever is happening has these three dimensions of emptiness, clarity, and sensation. And just being in that, it develops our capacity of integration. Okay, so let's Let's apply Guru Yoga method once again and relax in contemplation. Okay, and so now we just observe what we did, what we experienced during this session, how it was. And if it was valuable, then we noticed that there was something valuable, there was something interesting, there was something useful, there was something like basically good. And we feel satisfied, you know? Because maybe otherwise we would be involved into some activity that wouldn't feel that good. I mean, maybe could feel pleasant or important, but not that good in a special sense. In the sense of like some basic goodness. And we feel it was good. Like that guy who created the world, he was saying every time, every day, he was saying, it was good. We may argue whether it was good or not. But from his point of view, it was good. So what can we do? Really, we have nothing to say here. Can just accept it was good. At least something that we did during these 3 hours, it was good. And on the basis of this, because we develop some knowledge, some wisdom of our own state, we discover something about ourselves. Yeah, it's not that I'm telling you what all these ancient Tibetan people do when they are practicing Dzogchen. Yeah, no, it's not like this. It has nothing to do with the Dzogchen teaching. Dzogchen teaching is about discovering our own state, our own condition, how it is, what is changing, what doesn't change. And if you feel we develop some knowledge, we develop some wisdom, we feel good about it, but we all know how easily we can lose it, no? Easily. Maybe we go to the toilet and we leave it in the toilet. Yeah. Or we leave it in public transport or on a bike. Yeah. So we make a wish. May it continue and bring results for the benefit of ourselves and for the benefit of all beings. So with this intention, this is called dedicating merits. And if you know mantra, we can add mantra. And when we are adding mantra, we also can enjoy the sound, the reverberation of this mantra as well, going beyond mind. We already set an intention. We don't need to maintain it all the time. But when we go, even when we go to this aha sha sama, we are just integrating with the sound and with the instant presence. Okay. Om Dare 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 Swaha Jaya Jaya Siddhi Siddhi Pala Pala Ahasha Sama Mama Koilin Saimenta. Okay, so we finished for today, and tomorrow we are meeting at 10 o'clock Central European time. Okay, have a good time of the day, evening, morning, whatever you have, whatever you like, and see you tomorrow.